Hey guys, so welcome back to season 2 of a new series, Who This? And we are doing Before We Were Free, another book by Julia Alvarez. And of course, it's for my single authors class, but we are going to continue this series. I think it's quite interesting and fun. Um, Couple things, just quick housekeeping. Um, and it kind of came to my attention. I really want for this series, as well as the rest of my channel, to be a scholarly thing. I want for what I produce to be scholarly and for it to have a base in actual literature. And for whenever I talk about stuff like this text or any of the texts, I want to bring something more to the table other than I feel or, uh, stuff like that. I want for this channel to be something that I can present and say, here's the text, here is scholarly things that are going on, or here's what it's saying in the text, and push forward. Um, and the main goal for me is that I want this to be a replica of what my future classroom will be. So that's going to mean that I want for this to be more than opinion. It's going to be based in scholarly stuff. Now, I also want to bring in my opinion and stuff like that, but that's not what the main focus of this channel is. And that's definitely not what the main focus of this series is. So, that being said, I will always bring myself to the table, but I also want to make sure that the text is foremost. It's not taking a back seat. It is this that is why I'm here. So, with that all being said, we'll go ahead and today's tea is black currant, and it's actually in my National Honor Society mug. I've been a member of the National Honor Society for a couple years, and I finally bought the mug so that I could present it here and that we could have a drink and get into the text. So let's get started. Ooh, little little bite at the back. So in the first 3 chapters of this, um, I think one of the biggest things that stuck out is this creation of otherness. What is otherness? Otherness is basically just anything that is outside of the perceived self or group. Um, and so, where does otherness usually lie? Usually, otherness is when somebody is outside and they are, it is a very negative looking term. In this text, we see otherness as a positive thing. We meet Oscar, who goes to school with our main character, or kind of our main focus, Anita. And so Oscar is not a Dominican person. This takes place in the Dominican Republic. And so instead, Oscar is from Italy. He is outside of really the control of the Trujillo regime. He's outside of the really the control of the SIM, which is the secret police of the Dominican Republic. So he's able to have extra luxuries. He's able to have the opportunity to ask questions. Now, of course, we see this kind of take place that he's able to be that person that goes out and says, why are we doing this? And the biggest, example and easiest to like point out is about whenever they're doing like a Thanksgiving kind of thing in school, they all are actually going instead of like to a Dominican school. They're going to an American school, which is where like usually diplomats go, and like some of the local children. And what we are seeing is that that Oscar, along with the other kids, are also kind of experiencing life there in the Dominican Republic. So in this situation, Oscar's just like, you know, why are we calling these people pilgrims? They're, and stuff like that. And so there's kind of like this early conflict where we see Oscar saying, why are we doing this? Why is this a thing? And he's kind of like shushed, and in this kind of a situation, we see that Oscar has been created in this novel to be a critical thinking object. He's able to come up with ideas and stuff like that. ordinarily, in something like the Dominican Republic, especially during this time, a critical thinking character is something that is cast out and usually taken care of by the secret police. But we see Oscar play this role as the protective other. We also see this with Anita's neighbors. They are seen as like the protective other, as they are believed to kind of create this protection that the secret police or the Trujillo regime will not attack them because they are, outside of the reign or the control of the regime, and they don't want to make a negative impact. They want to make sure that the outsiders, the other, is seeing a positive look on the government. So this protective other acts as a change. For the most part, the creation of other and otherness in a text is fairly negative. It is somebody that is usually cast out, that is far away, and they don't want to be integrated. In this text, we see kind of the opposite, that the other is somebody that is welcome because they offer a sense of protection. They also add this sense of uh, entitlement to do things that the ordinary can't, and that usually would be a negative. But in this case, in a dictatorship, they are able to ask questions. They are able to go beyond what any of the ordinary citizens could for fear of death. So that being said, we don't see all otherness being positive. There are American students that are there, and they act kind of the opposite. They see the good in the regime, they see the good in what could be perceived as generally negative events, or what would be kind of negative thinking. So, in the teacher shushing Oscar, it acts as kind of this control. And of course, Anita suffers kind of from the similar situation, but she is a Dominican citizen. She cannot ask critical questions. Now, of course, so far we don't really see Oscar just like, oh, why is the government doing these things or whatever. But instead, he's asking these questions that somebody else can't. And I imagine that as we read more more into the text, we're going to see Oscar play this role as somebody that is able to be the positive other. So this kind of creation of Oscar is for me, it's an important part in, Before We Were Free, because he can do what others can't. Anita also is asking all these questions. She has things that she wants to present, but because she is a citizen, she can't. And her family very much fears that she could do something that could risk her life, it could risk her family's life. And so we see that Anita and Oscar are almost foils of each other. The only problem is that Oscar is able to be that other that everybody wants. And so Anita has to, at this point, she's trying to find her way, and Oscar could be that. And so by creating this other in Oscar, in my opinion, it could be what allows for Anita to break free. And especially as an Italian, he's created as this other that is able to be separated from the general idea. He's not implicated with the government, but he's also not implicated with the United States or other close countries. He's almost coming from a world away. So I think that that's the beauty of otherness and the protective other in this novel. So I think that's everything I really wanted to say for this week. Um, as always, I think that we're gonna read this book so slowly. So more than likely, I'm gonna finish this book, and I probably will come out with other content, always every week. But my goal is to kind of just like get started, and I'll probably finish it. It's only like 167 pages, so we'll see. But as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and that you're filled with peace, love, and joy. Have a good one, guys.